how to craft great questions. So if you're thinking about putting together a roundtable or some fireside discussion, and you're working as an HR business partner with a leader, how can you prepare effectively for that? It's very easy. You could go into a session and just say, what's going on? And just have, free flowing, open-ended dialogue that could seem a little bit rudderless. Or you could default to a very specific sort of interrogative approach, which follows sort of the 5 whys methodology, which is to say, why? I think that's good to some extent. My experience, though, the best types of questions start out with what, and then are followed with how. And the reason why I say that is why, for some reason, at least to me, my own experience, the why questions end up having an attachment of some sort of judgment behind it. Why doesn't this work? That almost, as you think about it, and especially how it's asked, it can be received as a judgment on the person who designed it or who is responsible for it. A better question would be, what's happening and how does it happen? That takes the tinge of judgment out of that, and it lessens the effect of creating a defensive wall when someone's asked a question of why. My own experience leads me to believe that people are more responsive to what and how questions than why questions. So as you're an HR leader and you're working with a new leader in a new setting, and they're getting up to speed and they're engaging with their employees and they're starting to see what's going on, that's great. If you can at least do that, that's awesome. But what will really unlock the best insights are the calibrated questions on the focus of the what and the how. And that follows sort of the next bullet point, which is the best leaders focus attention on the systems and not the individual. In other words, if something is not working right, don't default the answer to the person. Default the answer to the systems in the context. That leads to a much more rich and productive dialogue on process improvement and how to get better. Because I'm a firm believer that people operate in the systems that they're involved in, right? Some people may have shaped those themselves unwittingly. Maybe they're not optimized for it. Other people may have inherited a poor system and they're doing the best that they can. But it's really tempting for a leader to go in to a dysfunctional system and view it and say, oh, it's just a function of the people. They don't know what they're doing. Let's be systems focused and not focused on the individual players. And I can promise you, you'll get a wealth of great insights on how to get better and how to move the organization forward. But let me use a very specific example because it's relevant in my own background. One of my previous roles that I was an HR director for a manufacturing facility at GE. I won't go into the details of what the manufacturing facility was, but suffice it to say, it was a high-tech manufacturing system. All right. If there was a defect of a part that was generated, you had 2 approaches to figure out what was going on. You could go to the individual and you can say, you screwed up, you're in trouble because the part didn't turn out according to spec. The other approach is to look at the system and say, what are the chain of dependencies and things that led to this outcome, irrespective of who the person was at the controls? And the leaders who can do that are the ones that are the most effective. My own personal skill that I guess I've tried to develop over the years and coach my leaders, which is after you've asked great questions, after you've developed a systems thinking approach to listening to the organization, recap. And you say something to the effect of, so what I'm hearing is, complete the sentence, and then pause and listen. And as an HR leader, as a new leader in a new context, you'll be stunned at how often you get it wrong. Or if you didn't get it wrong, you didn't get the full picture. And this is a really, really critical skill that we can bring to as HR leaders, we can bring to business leaders to help them remember to ask these questions. Or if you're in that setting with them, you can say, so what I'm hearing is, and that prompts that dialogue and that discussion. And I've had many, many circumstances in my own experience where I've heard a comment, I repeat back what I've heard, and maybe I got it right, but I got a lot more rich context on the follow-up. And so mirroring it back is really, really powerful.